Welcome to the kitchens of Rizzo's Malabar Inn Restaurant here in Crabtree. I'm Rizzi DeFabo, and I'm going to be demonstrating a few recipes from my book called Cooking with Rizzi. I'm going to be preparing for you my brother Jerry's Red Clam Sauce. We're going to get some olive oil heated up in a pot here. About a half a cup we need. Just over some medium heat. Get the lid off of here. About a half a cup of olive oil. And there's perfect. Start to warm that up. And we're going to add a tablespoon of fresh chopped garlic to that. Careful not to burn the garlic. So you got to keep an eye on it, okay? Add about a tablespoon. You can add more or less if you wish. Start to get that, sizzle that down. And we're going to add about 1/4 of a teaspoon of white pepper in there. And again, that's optional as well. You don't have to add that much pepper, and you can add a little less pepper as well. More, less. I'm going to stir that around. Just being careful not to burn that. And to this, we're going to add 1 jar of Rizzo's Malabar Inn traditional spaghetti sauce and 1 jar of Rizzo's Malabar Inn marinara sauce, which is going to give it a few chunks of tomato to go with it. Now, if you're making this for if you want a total vegetarian dish, you can just use both jars of marinara instead of 1 traditional and 1 marinara. And if you're making it for the traditional Christmas Eve feast, you can just use both jars of marinara as well. We have plenty of boiling water here. We're going to cook about 1 pound of spaghetti here. Salt it up real generously. And keep our eye on our garlic just until it starts to sizzle. We're going to add our spaghetti to the pot. So that's cooking while we finish up our sauce there. Whoa, jumping all around. There we go. Careful not to burn this garlic. Give the spaghetti a few twists. Okay, we'll let that come back to a boil, keeping our eye on that. And we're going to add our spaghetti sauce and our marinara sauce to the pot. Use That's our marinara there. And we're going to add the Rizzo spaghetti sauce. Something's jumping around. Okay. Close that up. Close that up. And we're going to give this a quick stir here. Bring this to a full boil before we add our little neck clams. We're going to use little neck minced up clams, or you can use whole baby clams. And then once we put them in the pot here, the simmering sauce, we're going to cover it up and let it cook for just a few minutes, because we don't want the clams to get too tough. If you were using fresh clams, you'd scrub the shells very good. And then you'd add them once the sauce comes to a boil as well, and then you would go ahead and cover them up until they opened up. And then disregard any shells, the clams that did not open. And I would figure about 7 to 8 clams per person, fresh clams, would be a good amount. And then when you're buying the clams in the can, make sure that you check the weight on the clams, because the drained weight is different than the actual weight. So it'll have on the can the actual drained weight and the actual can with the juice in it. So you want to go ahead and make sure you have drained weight 1 pound of little baby clams minced up, or little baby clams whole. Okay, our sauce is up to a boil now. We're going to go ahead and add our clams. Remember, these are chopped sea clams or chopped baby clams. Well drained. I'm going to turn this down real low. And we're going to cover this up And while we're draining our pasta, it's going to finish cooking. This is what you call a restaurant-style lid to fit that pot. So we'll just keep that just about 2 to 3 minutes. Let that simmer. Finish up our pasta. We're going to drain it, and we're going to top it with our Rizzo's Red Clam Sauce. Towels here. Okay, our pasta is drained. It's out of our way. We're going to go ahead and plate up our red clam sauce here. To our serving platter. Remember that about a pound of pasta will feed about 4 people, with the figure about 4 people to a pound. You can use any pasta you want. You don't have to use the spaghetti. You can use linguine. You can use penne. Just like I mentioned before, you can use the whole wheat. Okay, I'm going to turn off our clam sauce. Put this on top. Lay it all nice on top. You can even put some extra sauce on the side on the table. Pass it around. There we go. Sprinkle some fresh parsley on top. If you want some Romano cheese as well, you can pass that amongst your guests. From my kitchen here at Rizzo's Malabar Inn to your kitchen at home, I wish you Sorcy, Morcy, Cerisi, sips, bites, and smiles.